I came while you were there. I was in the Bahamas hosting Shark Week.
Oh
this
my
week.
God! I want to talk about this Shark Week.
Yeah.
What the hell happened?
Sharks was crazy. Okay.
Did you would just go out and find sharks, or they had like a
No, we had a
sonar
whole thing. We had to do this whole hour-long episode. It was me, Q, and Murr, right? And we had to go out there and host this whole week, and we all did shark dives, dolphin dives, and we also got to do some of our bits out there, and then we also like wrote our own storylines.
Wait a minute, you guys prank sharks?
Yo, I got into it with kids. I prank kids great. I prank kids big. I did a whole thing. So we had these 3 storylines. So the storyline was that Discovery gave us this big budget and we could use it any way we want. That's true, though.
Right.
And so Q decided that he was going to hunt for the Staten Island red devil shark, this shark he saw as a kid. And so he actually got certified to, it was, I mean, all joking, you know, but he got certified as a scuba instructor before we went there. I couldn't, I didn't have the time. So when we went there, he did a 60-foot dive to an abandoned ship amongst dozens of sharks.
like out in the open, sharks?
Out in the open.
How is that safe?
Because they are trained to not attack you, and he went down with divers, and they had sticks in case the sharks came to poke the sharks in the nose. And he went down, and he didn't have gloves on, and apparently at one point they were throwing chum out so the sharks would go around him, and he lost his balance, and he had his hand behind his back, and a shark started to go at his hand, and this guy, shout out Dr. Craig.
Shout out Dr. Craig.
Dr. Craig is on Shark Week every year with the celebrities that host. It was like that. Well, it wasn't that many sharks, but it was like that. It was like they were like reef sharks.
Oh God.
Yeah, like that. That's what they were doing. And the shark started to charge at his hand to bite it. And Dr. Craig saw it the last second and shooed the shark away. And it was going like this, and it went right away from his hand. And he didn't tell us that till the last day. But Q was supposed to be.
He would have bitten Q's hand off for real.
Possibly, yeah. Apparently, Jackass hosted it a couple of years ago, and this guy Poopy.
Yeah, shout out Poop.
Poopy.
Shout out Poop, yeah.
Poopy. He like wakeboarded off a ramp or something and landed on sharks, and they bit his hand off, and it was swinging off his arm. Oh. And they wanted to get bit, but it bit him that bad.
Oh my God!
And they had to rush him out of there. They said his hand was hanging off. But anyway.
But you guys could do some great pranks if he only had one hand.
Oh my God. So Q did all this stuff. He did this dive, and then Murr wanted to speak to dolphins and decode dolphin language. So he had all this equipment he bought, and he did a dive with dolphins, and then he wanted to speak to dolphins so he could learn dolphin language to talk to the sharks, to tell the sharks to stop attacking us. These were all like sketches, you know? And then me, I was afraid of sharks and didn't want to do any of it.
Right.
So I didn't. So I took the whole budget and bought a diamond watch. So I have a full DJ Khaled, P Diddy, like 100% diamond encrusted glistening watch the entire episode on, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to really talk about how I spent my budget.
Now, is this a crossover? Is it your format or their format?
No, it's their format, but we did do 2 of our bits. We like almost like in the movie, like we weaved them into the actual storyline,
right?
And then so I had to meet with kids. So my whole thing was I was afraid to dive with the sharks. So first I was gonna go to the kids, to the nurse sharks, which are like, they're still 6 feet, but they like supposedly don't bite. They suck.
Right.
But they said
they hot nurses?
They could suck your arm right out. I was like, ooh, good night, nurse.
Sharks.
Yeah. Suck. So they suck, and he goes, yeah, but the thing will suck your arm off. And on camera, that's what he said. And I go, I don't want to get sucked off. I mean, if I have a choice between getting sucked off or the teeth, I'll take the teeth.
Exactly.
So I'm talking to kids.
Suck off.
Yeah. So I'm talking to the kids. It's ridiculous. They don't know. Like their parents volunteered them, but they're thinking they're signing.
Are they local Bahamian children?
They are, but they're not necessarily just Bahamian natives. They're anyone and everyone who just lives there now.
Got it.
And so the parents signed them up to go with the nurse sharks. So they had no idea. So I'm down by the nurse sharks alone, and then the kids would come down to this lagoon, and it was just me and the kids. And then they had long lens hidden cameras, and I would just bullshit with the kids for like an hour. I talked to like 10 different kids. Ridiculous stuff. Ridiculous. And it was really funny. And then in the end, all the kids did the lagoon dive with me with these nurse sharks. And the shark, there was 7 of them. And we were in like thigh-high high water, and these sharks were just circling us, dude. And the guy was throwing chum, and they'd come and they'd suck it out.
Were you nervous? Truthfully, like, were you nervous?
Truthfully, I was shitting my pants.
Really?
There was one point where I didn't give a shit. I took every kid and I grabbed them by their vest because they were wearing life vests. I wasn't. I put my arm through their vest and I was holding the kids, 3 kids, like a shield. And every time, and the kids started screaming and crying. I didn't even care. Every time a shark would come near us, I would turn the kids and they'd be like, "No!" They were like, "Put away from me!" And I'm like, "Just calm down. It's all right. It's all right." And another shark, and I had them on my arm like a goddamn human shield. I was holding them out I wouldn't let the shark get within 2 feet. My arm's length, I was holding the children out like it was a hostage situation. And the kids would be like, "No, no!" And I'd be like, "Shut up! Just shut up! It's gonna be fine. Don't make a move." It was scary.
Hilarious.
And then I ended up getting on the 3rd day. We did dives every day, and we went out into the middle of nowhere. And the 3rd day was really, really rough waters.
Okay.
So I took the medicine. We had medics on there. We had shout out to the whole crew. They were amazing.
Shout them out.
These guys are in the rough waters filming. They go down in their scuba gear with these big cameras, these huge cameras they hold like this. And anyway, I never got seasick before I got seasick. Okay.
Well, what is
Throwing
that?
up.
Nausea. Oh, you're fully puking.
Puking, right? So we made a joke. So at the beginning of the episode, we're like, "Hey, we're here on Shark Week." It was like a drone shot. We were going to introduce the episode. It was going to pull away and see us on the islands. And so we're like, "Hey, we're here for Shark Week. Stay tuned. It's going to be great." And I had fake vomit in my mouth. And that was a joke we just were going to do. So when the thing, I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Check it out. Stay tuned." And I'm like, "Whoa," and I threw up everyone. I'm like, "Shark Week." And then the thing went away. And then I guess I was foreshadowing because I was throwing up the entire time and they were recording it. So I guess it's going to be on camera. But they put me in the shark cage. I wasn't going to go free swimming with them. But they put me in the shark cage and in rough waters though. And it completely tore me up, I banged up my legs. I was bleeding. The thing was rocking like it was an earthquake. Underwater. It was rocking like it was an earthquake. I'm in the gear and everything. I go down and basically they were going to try and dump this stuff that's going to attract all the sharks to the cage, and then they want to test out a repellent to see if this repellent worked. So once they dumped all that and the sharks swarmed, they dumped this, after a few minutes, they dumped this repellent. It turned the water bright green and it didn't repel them. Okay. So I'm slamming back and forth in this thing and I'm already seasick. I was seasick. This happened like hours in.
Were you throwing up in your scuba gear?
No, but as soon as I got out of the cage and back on the boat, I lifted it up, leaned over, and threw up everywhere.
Wow.
And they had dead, rotting like fish, a station that they were slicing these frozen fish. They were called bonitas, and they were slicing them, and they were raw and smelly and bloody, and they come for the blood, right? And so that was everywhere. And so when I got out, I was smelling that, and the boat was rocking. I just started throwing up everywhere.
Oh my God.
But I'm in the cage, and the cage is rocking me back and forth, and I literally can't get down because it's so rough. So then I come back up. They put weights on me. They tie me up with weights so I could sink down. And I get to the bottom of the cage and the sharks are coming. And I'm not that scared because I'm in the tank. I'm in the cage, But it's shaking so much. I grab the cage to keep myself down there and to stay down. And I grab the cage and I grabbed 2 bars and I guess the water shook and I just went. And I didn't know it was a door.
It
and
opened the cage?
The whole cage opened. The whole thing like a windowsill. The thing just went boom and went to the top, and the whole thing was open.
With sharks everywhere.
Sharks everywhere. I was like, oh my God. So I was like trying to pull it down. And I couldn't get it down. And I slammed it down again. And then a few minutes later, it happened to me again. Because like when you're getting hit back and forth, I'm just grabbing for the tank to steady myself. And you grab for any pole in front of you, and it swung open again, dude.
So what?
They didn't come in, thank God. They said if a shark would have went in there and then it fell down, me and the shark would be in the cage all ourselves, and that wouldn't have been good.
So now when you're looking into a shark's eyes, what does it feel like?
They look demonic. Okay. They look demonic.
Truthfully demonic.
They're like little beady, like gray, dead eyes.
Like you feel dinosaur energy, right?
Yes, it feels like that. Yes, and look, I'm not here to give bad PR to sharks. Sharks, if you're watching, and we know that you are, shout out sharks. Shout out sharks. Shout out sharks. I'm not trying to do that to y'all. I'm not trying to do that. And watch Shark Week because it's fun, and it's coming on July 10th or July 17th or something. But it was a really, really, really good time.
But when the shark door opened like that, could you imagine getting stuck? You know what's crazy?
I don't even know if I signed a waiver. I did. I think I signed my life away.
Do you? But were they any of them like great? Like if the shark was in the tank with you, it wouldn't have killed you. Or no, it could hit an artery and kill you.
Yeah, it could hit
but
an
it's
artery
not
and
a
kill
great
you.
white where it's going to rip your head off with
Right,
one bite. They were
right.
little sharks.
Right, but Dr. Craig, who lives here in Montauk or up in Long Island, I'm going to go with him this summer. There's great whites off the coast of Long Island, and he's going to take me to see great whites. I'm not going to get in the water with him.
He gets in the water with them.
Unclear. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
We should have him on. That's awesome.
So
Yeah, he was great.
So the cage, though, there's no way anything can really go wrong, like in a serious way with the cage. Like how deep in the water are you?
Okay, so there's multiple cages. The cage I was in had an open top, so they don't want to lower it too much because then the shark could just go into the top.
Right.
But I needed that because I'm claustrophobic. So they had originally built me a special cage just for me, and the cage they built,
Vulcano.
because they knew I was scared, so they wanted to get more out of it. They built a cage for me that they were going to lower 15 feet. And the cage is like you get in and you close it, and it's just like really like kind of the size of a little bigger than your body. So it's not like a square cage, like a prison cell, but like a smaller cage. And instead of having big bars like a prison, it has little bars like grates, so you can't get your hands out. But then on the top, they cut the whole top out and they put a plexiglass window.
Oh, wow.
So that there's nothing there like that. And this thing's on a stick and it's completely closed, and then they could lower it down 15 feet. So that's what they built for me. So I was out there and the thing's rocking back and forth, and I'm throwing up and I'm getting sick, and they go, "We're gonna put you in this thing." And they didn't tell me they made a special cage just for me. And then they showed it to me and I go, "I can't go in that." And they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "I'm completely claustrophobic. Like, if you're going to lock me in that little cage and then put me 15 feet down, not only can I not get out of the cage, but I can't get out to breathe either in water." I said, "I don't want to go down there and then ruin this whole shoot for you, because if I get down there and I can't take it, you're going to pull me right back up and it's going to get effed." So Murray switched with me, and he went in that cage, and then I got in the cage that had the top still open. So mine still stayed relatively near the top of the water.
Well, that's what my next
to the
question
top
is:
of the
could
water.
you communicate with them somehow? If you were like, "I can't do this anymore," even in the other cage, you need to pull me up. Is there any way, or you can't?
Okay, so in past lives, I went scuba diving once in Grand Cayman, and they were just talking about signals that you would do, like if you're okay, if you're not, if you're this, if you're that, and those don't work anyway, by the way, because I had one instructor, and me and my friend, only two people with one instructor. It was almost like a private lesson, and she's like, "Do this if you can't, this if you," she's telling me all these hand motions, and she goes, "All right, let's go." And we went down 30 feet, and she was ahead, and then my friend, and then me, and we were trailing her, and there was like 5 times I needed her, and I'm fucking signaling, but she's just, her back is to me, and she's just going forward. And I'm like trying to tell her I'm fucking stuck. It looked like I'm doing the Macarena, and she's not even looking. And I'm like, what good are the signals if you're just going, you're 20 feet ahead of me going straight? Anyway, I said that to them on this, and they go, "No, we have the technology now. You wear this mask. It's almost like an astronaut mask.
Wow.
And your nose and mouth are free in it. And there's a button on the side of it that you push that has an intercom that talks to the people upstairs and the other divers." So I was like, "What?" So we could talk underwater. They go, "Yes." So I go, "All right." Went down. We all did it. We all did our dives. We all went down. It never freaking worked.
The intercom
Never.
never.
Like you would hear us trying to talk and them trying to talk back to me, but it was like
Could barely hear
you
anything.
could barely hear it. It was like staticky. It was cutting out, and we never understood each other at any given moment.
By the way, you've been on multiple cages in different shows.
I was on a bear cage.
Bear cage
With that Grizzlies.
the cage with the zombies. You stay in
Yes,
cages,
yeah.
man.
It's
I
crazy.
stay in
You
cages, bro.
stay in cages because you know
Nicolas Cages.
because it's funny to Nicolas Cage,
Yeah.
right? But what I feel like all those cages, but what we don't talk about enough is the cage you put yourself in emotionally. This has been Hey Baby.
Yeah, merch online right now. Go get our merch. It's all out right now.
Don't be a fake, don't be a flake, don't run away from your feelings, babe. Don't be afraid, don't be ashamed, don't hesitate to say, "Hey, babe."